let's start with this one. In this setting, most of the time that's just none. When I open a new project and execute an existing project, I can see there are just nothing there. So what's happened? You have 2 hours excavation TTL time. If you do not say to the publish how much time you want the publish to keep your cache inside the system. In the same time, your cache block will be clear every time the content is updating somewhere. It could be an article or whatever, a comment or whatever. So for instance, if you have a lot of end user, anonymous user which is publishing content, like creating an article or comments or whatever, you will clear your cache block every time someone is editing something. That's what happens when you do not set this expiry rule settings. So instead of that, of course, you can set a TTL or say to the publish to ignore the content expiry. Instead of that, you can still use the subtree expiry, and the settings are useless. Say to the publish, I want my cache block to be clear, and to remove my cache block each time something's happened inside this specific subtree. That's not very difficult to understand on this part. The most complex is this part, the key value. The key value, how to decide what could be the better value. Sometimes that's none. You can run project and see that there are nothing. Setting up in the key parameter. And most of the time, I can see that module underscore result dot URI. Like that. That's the default page layout on the easy demo example. That's quite similar than the easy login, which is the default design in easy publish 4.x before easy publish 4.7. We'll switch to easy demo. So it looks like that on easy demo. New page layout, you have 3 cache blocks with this key 3 times. These 2 are unregulated. So that's another question for you. Who is using this key inside this project?
You mean that exact key, or?
No, not exactly, but URI. Nobody? I cannot believe it. I'm sure you do. If you use the webinar or the demo beyond your website, you do. Everybody define your cache block without this key. Maybe you do not use key. So there is a short simulation on what's happened with the demo. A quite similar setting for your project. And for example, with the top menu, we can see a lot of websites with kind of Excel menu, but very sexy. You see, you're all over on the top section, and you have a huge menu with subsection inside. So on this kind of website, that's a classic website with 1,000 nodes, because you have folder, cataloging, article, and filtering, view parameters, a lot of view parameters. 2 different site access, because 2 languages. So at the end, Googlebot could find 10,000 different URL for your website. You do not use expiry in your content expiry parameters, so your cache will be clear every 2 hours on content publication. So if you try to make a kind of multiplication, okay, that's maybe not fair. I cannot say if you have 300 SQL queries on your project, but this kind of menu sometimes you need a lot of fetch inside, so a lot of SQL queries. So this is the multiplication. That's maybe a lot just for a menu. Especially the number of template log file. If your SQL server is strong enough, everything's fine. But maybe your file system is not strong enough. If you use Amazon or whatever on the cloud. So yes, that's easy to say, but how to avoid that? Because this is a perfect situation. To have cache block with linear content expiry, custom TTL on that, that's 1 day expiration time, and a custom key here, which is able to store only the different situation. For example, in your menu, you have 6 tab sections. So you have the default situation, and it's a situation where a section is selected. So you have six different sections. At the end, you have 7 different possible values. The default and the section 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Or the color, blue, red, or whatever you need, because you need sometimes to highlight, you need sometimes to change the color, just setting up a CSS value to embed inside your code. So that's the perfect situation. After that, I'll try to understand the main motivation for using UIP. What is the motivation? Because I always find. I'm sure there are more people in the room who use. Yeah, because you say your key has to be different for each pages because my title is different. I want to cache my title and my metadata and my meta keyword, meta description. I want to cache my EasyJS core scripts embedding, my breadcrumbs, the main menu, the right column, the footer. Okay, the footer could not be maybe different for each pages, but that's the case for my breadcrumbs. Maybe not because my view parameters do not change my breadcrumbs, so maybe I don't need the parameters inside my key, but only the node ID. Okay, I'm going to replace the UI with the node ID. Okay, I have the same problem because I still have 10,000 node ID. It doesn't resolve my problem. I just resolve the view parameters problem. I think that's not enough. Well, another motivation is, I just found an example on Easy Login and Easy Demo. It should be the best practice. So I just copy and paste the code and reuse it. That's a good motivation. It's working fine on my workstation. So move on and develop another features. It's not time to think about that. I will see after. Because it's not my priority. Because it's not visible.
No words.
It's related to a discussion with the engineering yesterday. And the prioritization. This is not visible, so it's not so important. But how the cache block system is really working. At the end, Easy Publish is generating all these files on your var here. It's looking like that. It's generating a kind of CRC non-readable hash. You cannot really understand the link between this file and your project. It's not possible to deduce because the name. Just see all this subfolder inside that, and you have 1 million of these files on your hosting server. So what's the meaning of this file name? So this file name is a hash using several values inside. And the first one is the cache block position inside your TPL file. Position mean line start, line end, current end. After that, the template path, your custom keys, and the site access. So each time your key is different, it's generating a new file. Each time you switch to another site access, it's generating a new file. And you have to guess what's happening with the cache block position. If I just add a new line inside my page layout, for instance, on top of my file or just upper or behind the cache block declaration, what's happened? Someone has a solution? I open my page layout, I add a line. What's happened? Easy publish will generate again all the cache block files and let the previous one on the file system. That's the way it is. If you add a line, if you add a space inside the cache block, because you have the line end or the line start. That's the way it is. That's not by fault. I don't try to resolve. Easy publish file will do the job. But I have to deal with that every day. So that's why I try to share with you. So then, how to build the perfect page layout? I focus again on that. I propose to have a reflection on the other side and to just enumerate all the value I have to expose and display inside my page layout. Okay, a title, metadata, the links for the CSS or RSS or whatever, the street, everything. Here my famous main menu and the current selected section. Maybe right column, most of the time right column, a footer. Do you have other example of value you need inside your page layout?
User info. Yeah.
User
info.
User info for login user. Yeah, you need.
On the right column,
On the right column, yeah, sometimes that's
login
the place is here or here, but not here.
not here.
Yeah. And what is a better place to evaluate this value? The better place is here. Where is knowing the title, the meta, the bread, I forgot the breadcrumbs. Where is knowing that? Your article knows its own title. Where is knowing the current section? Your article is knowing its own location. Where is knowing the strips needed required for the JS core? That's your article. Where is knowing your main menu? Not your article, only the current section. The right column, it could be your article if you use the zflow, related content or this kind of thing. You need to display that. Where is knowing the value of the footer? Not the article. So you have two situations. That's page layouts for the main menu or the full view for most of the values. Is there an out-of-the-box tool for that? Yeah, it's called Easy Page Data. Who used before Easy Page Data? Who knows? Yeah, that's fine. Not so documented. Because that's located for an easy demo before an easy webbing, that's not a kernel feature. That's template operator. No more. Just a template operator. They're using kernel feature or extension feature.